Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to the channel. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. My name is Kelsey, and today we are looking at what you can expect from the Saturn into Pisces transit. So go ahead, grab yourself a notebook, a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, pull up a chair, and sit for a spell. Okay, beautiful souls, let's go ahead and dive into this, and we are going to talk a little bit about this transit and the energies of this transit before I move into the readings. But we are looking at Saturn in Pisces, and this transit occurred on March 7th of 2023, and Saturn will remain in Pisces until 2026. Except for a short 6-month period in 2025 where it will be peaking out of Pisces, but then returning back to Pisces August 31st, 2025. So this is a whole new cycle. This is the first time that Saturn has been in Pisces since 1994. So 30 years. Some of you guys may have never even experienced a time where Saturn was in the sign of Pisces in your lifetime, so this could be an entirely new experience for you, or new energies coming into your life. But Saturn is the planet of maturity, the planet of discipline, of routine, of structure. It can also come through as kind of the planet that creates walls or blockages, or represents authority and things like this. Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn, or the 10th house energies, which can also kind of talk about our social status and kind of the way we build our everyday routines and structures and things like that. And Pisces is the 12th house energies, and this is a sign of isolation. It is a sign of faith. It's a sign of trust. It is a water sign, as well as a mutable sign, and can talk about a lot about like transitions emotionally, and like what we believe in, and how we kind of live those belief systems out. So Pisces energy can really talk about that transition or transformations emotionally, and you can see this as we move through Pisces season, which is the last portion of February and the first 3 weeks or 20 days of March, where we begin to see that kind of seasonal depression lift, and we kind of begin to transform internally to come into this rebirth almost. And Pisces is the ruler of the 12th house, and that is the last sign of the zodiac, the last house of the zodiac. So in a lot of ways it can also represent closure, and it can represent like endings or new beginnings, even for some of us, depending on where our 12th house is at in our chart. So just because Pisces rules over the 12th house, that doesn't mean that you have Pisces in your 12th house in your birth chart. Me, for instance, I am a Libra rising and sun, but my 12th house is actually it's Virgo. So it kind of applies the Piscean energies to whatever sign or planets or energies you have within your own 12th house. It is kind of blanketed or umbrellaed by the Piscean energy, if that makes sense for you guys. So let's go ahead here and get into our reading. I do feel for a lot of this transit, a lot of us are going to be definitely experiencing this in different ways, but I really feel for a lot of us, it's going to be bringing us into more self-awareness. It's going to be bringing us into for some of us, even a period of separation with the Saturn and Pisces. It's going to cause us to distance ourselves from certain people or environments or situations or jobs or ideas or systems or whatever it is for us. And it's going to cause us to really take a step back and be like, is this really what I believe in? Is this really what I want? Am I using this to cover up other fears or doubts that I might have about myself or what I want in my life? And how am I getting in my own way? What am I putting off in my own life? What am I putting on the back burner that is kind of just sitting there simmering and constantly like in the back of my mind, like I really need to do this. I really need to get this done. Where are we procrastinating at in our life? I feel like a lot of these things are going to be coming up with this transit to really push us into learning how to believe in ourself, learning how to trust in ourself and trust in the divine and trust in the universe and whatever it is that we believe in. I also really feel like collectively with the Saturn and Pisces energy, there's going to be a lot of transformations surrounding like religious entities and buildings and the structure of religion, almost like worldwide. I feel like there's going to be a lot of things surfacing and being brought to our awareness in the collective about what we believe in and things like that. I don't want to go too deep into that, but I definitely do feel like there's going to be a spotlight on religious kind of factors over the next 3 years or so, 2.5 to 3 years. There's definitely going to be a highlight on some of those kind of ideas in the way that they're played out in our world and in our environment and things like that. But out in front of you here we have 3 different piles to choose from. And I'm going to ask you guys to take a couple deep breaths, really ground yourself, connect to your intuition, connect to your guides, and ask which one of these 3 doors here is going to bring forth the messages that you need to hear in regards to this Saturn in Pisces transit and what it's going to bring to you. And here we have pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3, and I will have the timestamps to the beginning of each reading in the description box below, as well as the cards that I'm using and the link to my website for anybody who may want to book a personal reading. And all of that good information is all in the description box below. So go ahead and pause the video if you still need a moment, and I'm going to go ahead and move on to group number 1. Hello, my beautiful group number 1. Those of you that chose the first pile here with the Tarot of Dreams tarot deck. And this is the image, the doorway for you guys. And what I really feel kind of from this imagery here, group number 1, is that this Saturn and Pisces transit is going to be almost liberating for you. In a sense where it's almost like for some of you guys, you are maybe putting up some boundaries or some walls or being a little firmer in your boundaries in regards to like who you allow to be in your life and why you allow them to be there, how you allow them to be there, and what you allow them to kind of take from you. There's just something here, group number 1, where it's like, I'm going to live my life for me, and I'm no longer going to feel tied down or restricted or responsible for other people in my life before myself. So there's like the sense of prioritizing self here, and that may cause you to distance yourself, even kind of isolate yourself, and really find a way to enjoy being with yourself is an energy that's coming through here very strongly for you, group number 1. But let's take a look at the message on this card here, and then we'll shuffle the rest out as we go. We have yes. Kiss the ground and touch the sky. Your soul is set now to leap and fly. I love it. So I really feel for you guys that there's definitely going to be a strong sense of liberation, a strong sense of freedom. And for some of you guys, this could be financial freedom. This could be emotional freedom. This could be opportunities coming in that's going to allow you to explore and be free and kind of travel. Very kind of Sagittarian energy coming in here. And in some instances, or in some versions of astrology, Jupiter is the ruler of Pisces, right? So we have that Jupiter energy and kind of Neptune energy that both kind of represent different aspects of the Pisces energy. But I definitely feel that Jupiter energy here very strong for group number one. Expansion, wisdom, growth, exploration, freedom, and almost this belief in self finally for group number one, which is beautiful. So let's go ahead here, you guys, and shuffle out some more cards and see what you can expect from this new cycle that's starting, from this new energy that is being created with this transit for group number one. What can group number one expect from Saturn and Pisces? Door to value. Yeah, there's definitely like this overwhelming sense here of self-worth, of financial freedom, of even like net worth for some of you guys, or like this idea that of financial freedom. There's definitely financial freedom coming in here. So for some of you guys, your 12th house may be ruled by like Taurus or Scorpio, or you may even have Saturn kind of ruling over one of those houses, but it does feel like a sense of releasing, of stagnation. So for some of you guys, this stagnation could have a lot to do with whether or not you are like a mutable sign, a cardinal sign, or a fixed sign. Sorry, I got kind of stuck there. If you are a fixed sign, there's something here where it's like maybe you felt very stuck, maybe you felt very stagnant, maybe you felt like there was nowhere for you to go or nowhere for you to flow, and it's like the floodgates are going to be opening here for you, group number one. I love that. We also have the garden and the gate. So again, it's like the gate is opening. There's something very, very strongly here for group number one about opening, about releasing, about freedom, no longer feeling trapped for some of you guys. So for some of you guys, maybe you felt trapped because of your financial situation, or you felt like you couldn't leave a certain place, a certain person, a certain environment, a certain lifestyle because of your financial situation, or because you felt like you weren't worthy enough to live a better life, or like there was something wrong with wanting more. And there is a huge lifting of that energy coming in for you over the next 3 years. I feel like group number one, you guys are really going to see an increase in your self-worth, and that is going to lead to an increase in the value that you place on your time and your energy, and the way that you view finances. So for some of you guys, this could definitely be coming through here, as well as like kind of transforming out of that poverty mindset. Some of you guys may have, or may really resonate with this idea that money is a bad thing, or that it's a bad thing to want money, or feel almost dirty for wishing that you had more money, or wishing that you had financial freedom. I do feel like there's a huge shift in that mentality, and the belief system you have around finances is changing dramatically over the next 3 years, and that's really going to influence how open you are to receiving this freedom, to receiving this financial freedom. So with this transformation of this belief system within you, group number one, there's also a transformation in your energy that allows you to be more open to receiving the finances that you've truly been desiring, but not allowing yourself to have, out of this idea that it's a bad thing, or that that you aren't capable of achieving it, or that you have to be born into it, or whatever kind of idea it is for you, group number one. That's really changing very strongly, I feel, for you over the next 3 years. So if you've been struggling financially, if you've been having a lot of difficulties around like your mentality with money, or your mentality with work or career, you know, Saturn rules over those energies. I do feel that changing very, very dramatically for you guys. Let's pull another card here, and then we'll get into your tarot. So group number 1, Saturn and Pisces. How is Saturn and Pisces going to be impacting group number 1, please? Okay, we have 2 that want to come out. That's fine. We'll start with house 12. Yeah, spirituality, transcendence, karma, sacrificial service, and healing. Yeah, so there's definitely 12th house energy here, which is ruled over by Pisces, right? So looking into your own personal birth chart, you definitely could have like Taurus as your 12th house, or Scorpio as your 12th house, or there's just something here, even for some of you guys, maybe like Capricorn as your 12th house. But there's definitely something here where there's healing and transformation of the belief system surrounding finances. So I really feel for group number 1 that your 12th house is definitely kind of a sign or an energy that deals a lot with finances or this kind of physical existence. So a lot of healing for you guys surrounding fear of success, fear of finances, a lack of self-worth, and these kinds of energies, which I absolutely love. We also have house 5, passion, play, children, confidence, and creativity. Yeah, so there's definitely, so some of you guys may even have like Leo in your 12th house or Pisces in your 5th house. But there's definitely some energies here for group number 1 where you're going to have a lot more opportunity. You're going to have a lot more freedom to explore your passions and your hobbies and the things that you like to create, and the activities that you enjoy doing. The next 3 years are going to feel a lot more fun. You may find yourself traveling more, going on more vacations, getting a lot more in touch with that inner child that just, that says yes without that weight of responsibility, without that weight of I have to be responsible. So I feel like group number 1, a lot of my group number 1s here may have been very, very strict, very, very rigid in the idea that you have to get up and go to work, that there is no time to play, taking things very, very seriously. And with Saturn moving into Pisces, it's releasing a lot of that rigidity and creating a lot more, maybe discipline and responsibility, kind of a maturing without this idea that you aren't allowed to have fun, or that makes you irresponsible, or that you aren't allowed to take time off because you can't afford to, or that it's going to negatively impact you in some way. So some of you guys may have never even taken a vacation out of this idea that if you take time off work, or if you take time for yourself, or if you take a vacation, that it's going to negatively impact you or impact your finances, or that it's going to be a bad thing. So you haven't allowed yourself to release and have that fun. And that is definitely going to be a very large energy coming in to kind of help you get back in touch with that inner child and help you release a lot of that strictness, a lot of that rigidity over the next 3 years, which is going to be absolutely beautiful. There's like, that saying, you can't have your cake and eat it too. I don't believe in that per se. I guess in some situations, depending on how it's used, but what I really feel here is that you are going to be able to have your cake and eat it too. Like, you worked so hard for everything you have. You work for your money, you've spent your time and your energy to obtain that resource. Why would you not be able to use that to enjoy your life more, right? And that's really what you guys are going to be learning over the next 3 years, I feel. But let's pull some tarot and go a little deeper into this for group number 1 and what you can expect. So group number 1, why is the door to value here for group number 1? We have the 7 of Wands. Yeah, I really feel like group number 1, a lot of you guys have spent a lot of time trying to protect your finances, or it's just this energy here of like almost hoarding money. This idea that you can't spend money on anything that you want, this idea that you have to hold on to all of your money because, you know, something might happen or you might need it, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like a savings account isn't a bad thing, but it can become kind of negatively impactful if it becomes a defense mechanism to hold on to everything that we have out of fear of lack, potentially. So there's like a huge idea here that you're no longer feeling like you have to fight back against, you know, paying for your bills or spending money on things that you enjoy. Interesting. Why is the garden and the gate here? Group number 1. Lovers. Yeah, I really feel for a lot of you guys that there's going to be a lot more trust being built around this idea that the money will always come, right? There's definitely something here, like a mentality, a mindset, an energy where it feels like there's a fear of the money stopping, a fear of the money being blocked, a fear of, you know, losing your job, or like this idea that really that the money will stop coming in, and there's a huge fear energy surrounding this, which Pisces energies can bring up our fears and our doubts and our like our hidden fears, right? And I feel like you guys are going to be exploring a lot of that surrounding your finances here. With Lovers, this is telling me that there is a much needed sense of trust that is being built here with Saturn and Pisces, the structure almost of trust being built here, where you are going to be able to believe that money flows freely to and from you, that it's not just something that comes in and then never like replenishes. There's this trust that your resources will be replenished. And this, I think, more of an idea or of a philosophy of life that, you know, what you put out comes back to you is going to be something that you're going to be able to believe in a lot deeper. And recognizing that that isn't just, you know, a kind smile, that isn't just the words that you speak, but that's also the energy that you spend and the time that you spend and how you interact with the world and where you put your finances and what you're buying. Like what you put out will come back to you. And the most physical way we can see this represented is when we spend our money on something that we want or even something that we don't want. You know, if you spend your money on something that you don't want, now something that you don't want has entered your life. You have obtained something that you don't actually want with the money that you worked very hard for, out of this idea that you need it, or that this is the responsible purchase to make, or that, you know, this is what you should have, or this is what somebody else told you you should do, or however that comes through for you. And now you're bringing things that you aren't actually passionate about, that you don't actually desire, into your life. And there is an ending to this happening. Like Pisces, the 12th house here, there is closure. There is an ending to this mentality, to this idea that you have to work a certain way, spend a certain way, live a certain way. And I feel for a lot of you guys, it's all very financially based. And this definitely feels like it's something that was taught to you, or like a way of life that was kind of pounded into you as a child by watching your guardians or people around you and how they interacted with bills and finances and their work and their ideas around that. I feel like you guys maybe took on a lot of that ideology around you have to work very hard for money, that no matter how hard you work or how many hours you work, you're always going to be poor, that you're never going to obtain success or wealth because people like us just don't ever obtain those things. A lot of that is going to be healing and coming to an end. And you're going to be building like a new structure around trusting that you will be provided for if you allow yourself to flow in the direction that you truly want to go, and say yes to the things that you truly want to say yes to, instead of fighting them off out of this idea that it's going to take something from you. Let's pull some more tarot. Let's take a look at house 12 for group number 1, please. We have the High Priestess coming out on house 12, yeah. Some of you guys may be going into a more spiritual-based career in the next 3 years, or getting much more in touch, which we see here already. You guys are getting much more in touch with your beliefs, with your faith, with your ability to trust in the universe or in God or in the divine, or however you see the divine. But I do really feel for a lot of you guys that there is going to be almost like a freedom around your belief system as well. Whereas before, maybe you didn't know what you believed in, or for some of you guys, maybe you felt like you had to hide what you believed in out of fear of how other people would react or how other people would perceive you. And I do really very strongly feel that changing. You guys definitely are going to be embodying your belief system over the next 3 years. You're going to be learning how to step into that and how to uphold your faith regardless of how other people see that faith or what other people think about it, or whether or not anybody else likes it. And that's going to be very healing for you. There's a lot of healing in your belief systems over the next 3 years, and that's going to be showing in your physical world financially in the biggest way, I feel. It'll definitely have a ripple effect in other areas of your life, in your love life, or in your relationships in general, in the way that you network, in the way that you connect with people and communicate. And even like for some of you guys, you may be connecting to a whole new group or a whole new community of people as you kind of transform into this person that actually embraces the things that you like instead of fights against them out of this idea that they're a negative thing. You may find yourself connecting to a lot more like-minded people over the next 3 years as well. But it's going to be very healing for you to really solidify this belief system and allow this belief system to kind of change your reality, if you will. Let's take a look at house 5 for group number 1, please. Page of Coins. Yeah, I feel for a lot of you guys that there's definitely going to be an opportunity to create some finances or some financial gain here through a hobby, through creativity, through something that you make or something that you have to offer. Some of you guys may be in the next 3 years receiving like your first gig or like your first show or concert. Maybe some of you are singers, I'm seeing here with like these music notes and this bird. Some of you guys may be receiving like compensation for some sort of speech or some sort of presentation, or creating something that almost creates like this buzz. There's something here about like this buzz being created around something that you're doing over the next 3 years. People are talking about it. People are noticing. And it's because it's something that you actually have that fire for, group number 1. Something that you actually have that passion for, that excitement for. So lean into those things, okay? Invest into those things so that you can bring more of that back into your life, right? So there is kind of a message here for group number 3 to become very aware of where you're putting your money, how your money is being spent, and how you like look at your finances, how you look at your bills, and what are you paying for? Are you paying for things that don't bring you joy, that you just feel like you're supposed to, or that you feel like you have to, because of where you live or how you live, or the financial state that you live in, or maybe you feel like because you do live in poverty, you have to buy like the cheapest things that you can find. There's just something here about needing to become aware of where your money's going, how it's being spent, and the belief system behind it, as well as like really cleaning up your bank account if you have any subscriptions that you're no longer using that you're still paying for. If you if you're paying for like apps or anything like that, there's a need to really clean that up for group number 1, and that's going to help you a lot as well. So let's go ahead and pull you one final message, group number 1. Any last guidance or advice, actions you should be taking during this transit or during this time. Group number 1, please. Okay, there's 2, so we'll just take 2. So group number 1, we have here benefactor, grace and generosity. Yeah, there's definitely there's definitely like this essence of gain coming in over the next 3 years for you guys, especially financially. But with grace and generosity here, this is again kind of confirming this idea of what you put out comes back to you, right? Being generous, not having this kind of hoarding mentality to where you have to hold on to everything or like white knuckle grip on to what you do have out of this fear of lack. And we also have first breath, beginner's mind. I love it. And this is 21, which is a 3. And this is number 3. We have 30 and we have 31. So those numbers may be coming through as kind of a message for you or a confirmation from spirit in regards to your financial state or your belief system around your financial state. So if you're seeing 333, 222, 111, or 1111, especially with this beginner's mind here, kind of try to take note of where your mind is. If you're stressing about bills, if you're stressing about money, if you're telling yourself that you're never going to make it, or things like that. I feel like Spirit's really trying to help you become more aware of this aspect or of this belief system that you've been living in order to help you kind of transform here, okay? But this is what I'm seeing for my beautiful group number 1. If you enjoyed this, if it resonated with you, if it brought you value, please hit that like button, as it truly does help to support the channel. Comment down below. Let me know if you chose pile number 1. Let me know how the Saturn and Pisces energy is impacting you at this time. Let me know if you have any questions about this reading or about this transit. Consider subscribing if you feel called to do so. I thank you guys so very much for joining me here today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Hello, my beautiful group number 2. Those of you that chose doorway number 2 here with the Thoth Tarot, this reading is for you, and we are looking at how Saturn in Pisces is going to be affecting or impacting you during its stay in Pisces. So starting off here, we're going to take a look at this card, group number 2, and I'm really picking up on this kind of symbol down here on the floor, and it's really giving me like root chakra vibes. And so I feel for a lot of you guys that Saturn in Pisces is going to be teaching you how to find a safe space, whether this safe space is internally, learning how to feel safe within your own body, learning how to feel safe in your environment or in love, or learning how to feel safe enough to explore your emotions or your thoughts or that internal narrator. That's going to come through differently for everybody, as this is a general reading, but I really, really feel for group number 2 that there's a strong sense of learning how to feel safe, and maybe even finding that feeling of safety or security or that feeling of belonging or home in the external world as well. But there's definitely this idea of learning how to feel safe in your own body, in your own skin, coming through here as well for group number 2, which is absolutely beautiful and very, very powerful and can be so life-changing in so many different ways. But let's take a look at the message here on this card. Group number 2, we have the Sacred Lotus, compassion in action, the chosen tool. I see now the lotus in your spirit's jewel. Interesting. It's interesting that the lotus, I think, is what I was so drawn to in this image as well. The lotus is a very spiritual kind of energy, right? It is a flower that represents purity, that represents transformation, that represents coming out of the darkness. The lotus comes up through the mud and through the dark, kind of murky water up to the surface. So I am feeling kind of the sense of duality with this Saturn and Pisces energy, which makes sense. Pisces is represented by the two fish that are swimming in opposite directions. Pisces is definitely a sign that represents a sense of duality. And for some of us, Pisces, the Saturn and Pisces transit is going to be kind of about diving deep into the kind of darker aspects of self. And for some of us, I feel like this is going to be like a breath of fresh air, like coming up to the surface. To breathe again. So some of us are diving deeper into the water, and some of us are finally coming up out of the depths. And I feel like for group number 2, you guys are finally kind of breaking the surface of the water, and it's like this ability to breathe again. Interesting. So let's go ahead here, group number 2, and pull some more cards, and go a little deeper into what you can expect for this transit over the next 3 years. Group number 2. How is Saturn and Pisces going to be impacting group number 2? We have hostilities. Interesting. And journey. Okay, so starting off with hostilities. Like I said, there's something here about learning how to feel safe. I feel like for group number 2, a lot of you guys have experienced, or maybe are even currently experiencing, a lot of very hostile energies or environments, or dealing with certain people that are very aggressive or very quick. Like some of you guys may even resonate with feeling like you have to tiptoe around certain people or in your own home out of fear of making somebody else mad, or out of fear of like triggering other people. You may have experienced a lot of conflict, or you may currently be experiencing a lot of conflict, a lot of arguments, a lot of just kind of a lot of fire energy within your life. Or this may have been an environment that you grew up in that caused you to kind of stay in this fight or flight mode. And this may cause hostilities to come out in you. Group number 2, you may be the kind of hostile energy. Let's be transparent here. You may be the one that's quick to anger, or you may be the one that other people feel like they have to tiptoe around so that they don't make you mad or they don't say the wrong thing. But whichever way this works for you, group number 2, I really feel like there is a closing of the door, an ending of this hostile energy over the next 3 years, learning how to come out of that survival mode, learning how to come out of that fight or flight energy. Some of you guys may find that you're very quick to defend yourself, or very quick to get hostile in certain situations, and in other situations you may be very quick to run away. You may be very quick to try to find, the back door, try to find the way out, try to escape, which is a very Piscean kind of energy. Pisces is all about that divine connection, that connection to spirit, to the universe, to God, however you see that energy. But on the other hand of that duality, again, coming in here, Pisces energy can be about escapism. It can be about isolation. It can be about, segregation. And I feel like you guys have maybe experienced a life where it's been one extreme to the other, in different ways, and there's a sense of balance coming in here where you are able to kind of stand your ground, where you're able to self-regulate, where you're able to not allow external factors to dictate the actions that you take. Interesting. We also have journey here coming out for group number 2, and this is number 2. So I do feel like you guys are going to be traveling at some point within the next 3 years, but there's also this sense of this spiritual journey coming in here. And I feel for a lot of you guys, this has to do with this kind of internal safe space. You guys may be kind of doing a lot of meditations, a lot of internal work over the next 3 years that's going to be very transformative for you. Maybe you're starting therapy, maybe you're, journaling, maybe you're learning how to meditate, or learning how to do dream work, or learning how to travel into that subconscious, or doing inner child work, or working with your divine masculine energy in particular. There is kind of a soothing of some masculine wounds here for group number 2. Like your own internal divine masculine energy, I feel, has been wounded, and I feel like there is some soothing of those wounds as well. But you guys are definitely going on a journey over the next 3 years, and this journey is about self. This journey is about journeying within yourself to be reborn. It's almost a journey of purification here, purifying your emotional self, purifying your mental self, kind of separating yourself from your memories, separating yourself from the things that have happened in the past, and no longer allowing those experiences and those energies that you went through to dictate how you live your life now. There may even be a lot of like cord cutting, a lot of almost like blocking with that Saturn energy here. It's almost like you're building those walls up in between you and those things that cause you so much pain, or in between you and those things that are harmful, in between you and the toxicity, in between you and any narcissistic connections or any sort of energies that would see you as, you know, the same scared child that you used to be. And there's something here where it's like, I'm not that little girl or little boy anymore. I'm not that helpless person. I'm not that person that was scared anymore. And I don't want to be treated like I am that person anymore. I want to be seen as who I am now. I want to be seen as the powerful person that I am now, not just the pain that I went through. I hope that makes sense for you, but there's a strong energy here, a very strong energy here, where it's like you're needing the room to change, and maybe you have some people or some energies around you that refuse to see you as somebody that's able to change. You may have a lot of like naysayers, or a lot of people around you that are like, yeah, right, I'll believe it when I see it, or you're never going to be able to do that, or however that comes through for you. And it's almost like the Saturn energy that's playing its role in the Saturn and Pisces transit is building walls between you and those energies that would like to see you stay this kind of scared child internally. Interesting. Let's pull some more cards here. So I do feel like the next 3 years it's going to be very powerful, but it is going to be a journey for you guys. It is going to be some very major internal change and very major external change potentially for some of you guys. It is like a rebirth. There is like this energy of stepping into a brand new life. Some of you guys may be moving to a whole new city, or you may resonate with wanting to go to like a new place where nobody knows you, where you don't have to constantly try to make up for past mistakes, or where you don't have to constantly try to prove that you're not the same person that you used to be, or we're just able to go somewhere where other people don't expect you to be that person that you used to be. Interesting. Let's pull some more cards and see how this Saturn and Pisces is going to be impacting and influencing group number 2, please. We have house 8, yeah, transformation, karma, facing fears and legacies. Yeah, you guys are definitely facing a lot of fears, and really no longer allowing these fears, or that fear that you've held on to from your past, to control you. There is a transformation of that, and for a lot of you guys, with that transformation, it's also transforming what you are able to become, and where you're able to go in your life. You guys are entering into a phase of your life where you're going to begin building a legacy. You're going to begin being that person that you want to be remembered for, not the person that people remember as I feel like group number 2, a lot of you guys may really struggle with people viewing you as your past, and that's going to come through differently for everybody here, as this is a general reading, but there's definitely something here for group number 2 where it's like, no matter how much I change, no matter how much work I do, no matter what I do, people refuse to see me as anything or anybody other than who I used to be. And there is a major transformation of that happening for you over the next 3 years, whether this is you moving to a completely different town where nobody knows you so that nobody can compare you to your old self, whether this is you finally being able to like self-regulate and stand up and be like, no, this is who I am now, and this is what I want to be remembered for, and this is what I'm doing. There's just something here, group number 2, where there's major changes of that internal self. You are no longer the person that you used to be, and there is a strong need and desire for people to see you for who you are now and for the powerful person that you've become, instead of the scared child that you used to be, or instead of the person that always needed help, or instead of the person that somebody like saved. I feel like there's something around you where it's like people look at you as like a sense of pride for themselves, like I helped you so that makes me a good person, and you can't ever be a person that doesn't need help because that's going to make me feel like I'm not needed or I'm not worthy. And there's a lot of like projection of this type of energy I feel onto you. Like people don't want to see you change because it's going to alter the way that they are able to interact with you, and they can no longer be the hero, or they can no longer, you know, uphold that image. And it's almost, it feels like they feel like you changing is going to be detrimental to their image, and so you may be experiencing a lot of that. Interesting. Let's pull another card, group number 2, and see how else Saturn and Pisces is going to be impacting you. Group number 2, please. Cardinal. Yeah, instigate bravery and a pioneering spirit. This is Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn energy. So you guys may have any of these signs as your sun, moon, or rising, or they could be your 12th house, or you may have Saturn in any of these placements. You know, it can come through differently in so many different ways. But with Cardinal here, this is initiation, right? This is the beginning. This is the start of a new journey here. You guys are being reborn. It's like a sense of birth here, especially with House 8. It's like a sense of birth, a sense of birthing a new version of yourself. That, again, that breath of fresh air coming up out of the water. No longer feeling like you are being suffocated, or like you're drowning, or like there's no escape. Interesting. So this is finding a way out. This is finding that safety and that stability. This is finding a safe space, and finding a way out of the hostile environments, finding a way out of that part of yourself, whether it's that you've blocked out or shut out the experiences that you've had in hostile energies and environments, or with hostile people. Some of you guys may have experienced a lot of abuse, or witnessed a lot of abuse that you haven't allowed yourself to face or look at. And there is a change in this. There is a healing of this. There is like this energy of finally standing up and fighting to overcome these things that have held you back. So in a sense here, group number 2 with this Saturn and Piscean energy is causing you to kind of stop holding the door shut. It's causing you to get out of your own way. It's causing you to look at those things that you've put on the back burner and have left there, and keep telling yourself that you'll deal with it later, or that you'll look at it later, or that, you know, you don't have time, or whatever kind of excuse it is. There's something here where it's almost like you're going to come into a time where there is nothing else to look at other than that. And I feel like you guys are currently entering that phase of your journey. That phase of this transformation is where everything else is going to seem so minuscule, or everything else is being cleared away, so that there is nothing left to do but to face these things that have been holding you back. Interesting. Let's get some tarot for group number 2 and go a little deeper into this. Okay, so we have the 10 of Cups. Okay, and with this coming out on hostility here, group number 2, there's definitely something here about closure. Closure emotionally. Some of you guys may have stayed very connected or involved with certain people, energies, environments, situations that have caused a lot of harm, or that make you feel like you're in danger, or that cause you to go into that survival mode out of this idea that their needs or their wants or their emotions or maybe it's family for some of you guys, like the connection that you have to these people is more important than how you feel, and there's an ending to this happening. And over the next 3 years, I feel like you guys are going to start pouring a lot more into your own cup and no longer feeling responsible for making sure that everybody else's cup is full, even if that means that you have to like harm yourself to do so. There's something here where it's like there's no more putting yourself in harm's way in order to make other people feel better. However that comes through for you, group number 2, which is absolutely phenomenal. I love seeing this. I absolutely love seeing this, and it is one of the hardest things to go through, and it is the hardest way to live your life. But when you can come out of this energy of no longer feeling responsible for everybody else and hurting yourself in the process, and feeling like nobody else around you cares about the pain that they're causing you or about what they're taking from you. And when you can have that strength and that stability to be able to stop doing that, no longer needing the acceptance or no longer basing your worth off of the acceptance or the happiness of other people, it is such a freeing experience, group number 2. So there's almost like this energy here over the next 3 years where it's like you're going to just be kind of like throwing all of your chips on the table and being like, take it or leave it. This is who I am. This is how I'm going to live my life. This is what I want to do. And that doesn't involve me supporting you or, you know, making sure that you're emotionally okay, or making sure that you have everything that you need, or making sure that you approve of everything that I'm doing. There's an ending to however that's coming through for you, group number 2, in your life. Wherever that is, there is an end to that. There's an end to this need for validation, an end to this need for acceptance, or an end to this idea that you are responsible for withholding toxic connections in your life because of who they are or what they did for you once. Wow. Let's pull some more cards here. So we have the Two of Wands with the Minion coming out on Journey, which, yeah, there's no more hesitation. There is a releasing of this hesitation, a releasing of this idea that you have to hold back yourself. And for a lot of you guys, if you resonated with being like the hostile energy, or if you resonate with being very triggered, especially lately as we, you know, really kind of sink into this transit of Saturn and Pisces, if you've been very angry, if you've been very triggered, if you felt very hostile, or if you've just noticed a lot of that energy around you in whatever way it's coming in, with this Two of Wands here, there is this idea, it's like you've been waiting for something to happen, or you've been waiting for the right moment, or you've been waiting for, you know, the ability to leave, or you've been waiting to be relieved from your position in some way, shape, or form, is kind of how I'm seeing this, like waiting for somebody to tell you it's okay to go, or waiting for somebody to support your decisions. There's an end to that. You're no longer waiting, no longer waiting for people to catch up, no longer waiting for people to understand, no longer waiting for the approval of others, or for somebody to root you on. The hesitation is leaving, it's being cut off, and you're just going to dive in to this new journey, to this new path, and to this new way of life. Whether this new way of life is just living in a different way, you know, a different lifestyle, a new energy, or whether this is moving or starting a new job, or however this comes through for you, it is going to be different for everybody. But there's major transformation within self that is causing you to move through your life in a different way, that you've been holding back. There is like initiation here. Again, this instigation, this pioneering spirit, this instigation, initiation, activation energy happening here. There's no longer hesitation expectation, no longer waiting. There is an ending to something and a very clear beginning to something happening here for you, group number 2. We also have the Knight of Discs coming out on house 8. Yeah, there's stability. There is a major transformation in the way you view stability, in the stability within yourself, potentially financial stability with the Knight of Discs here for some of you guys, longevity, this legacy energy. You guys are stepping into a phase of your life that is going to be much more stable, much more slow moving, almost like there's almost like this energy here where it's like you're going to want to spend more time, you know, in your life. You're going to want to spend more time living your life and doing the things that you want to do instead of being obligated or responsible for other people or other people's emotions or other people's ideas or trying to conform to other people's opinions. There's a major change to that. Wow. So again, you know, we started off this reading here with this idea of safety, this finding the ability to feel safe within yourself, to feel stable within yourself. There is this unshakable stability that you guys are coming into internally that is going to really allow you to know where you belong, to know who you are, to know what you want in your life. Instead of constantly trying to seek it out or constantly trying to, you know, help other people achieve their goals. Interesting. Let's pull another card here. Group number 2. Interesting. This is not even a card here. This is one of the extra cards that comes in the deck, but I find that very interesting because I'm pretty sure I thought I took them out. So I feel like this is kind of coming out here for a reason. Some of you guys, sacred geometry may be very, very powerful for you during meditations or things like that. Interesting. But let's pull an actual card now, group number 2, and see what else. We have the universe coming out here right on top of cardinal. Yeah, you guys are being activated into this new state of being where you are able to shed the need for approval. You're able to shed the with Saturn and Pisces for a lot of you guys too, with the universe coming out here, I feel like this is a releasing of this idea that you have to live your life the way the authority figure told you had to live your life. So for a lot of you guys, maybe you struggled with your masculine energy, or maybe you struggled with a father or a father figure, and a lot of those wounds are being healed and allowing you to begin detaching from this idea that you have to either live your life the way that you were taught to live your life, or that an ending to this idea that you are going to live your life in the complete opposite way that you were told to live your life. Some of you guys may have been living in this very rebellious nature out of spite or out of this idea that you were going to prove somebody wrong. And so it kind of leaned way too far to the other side where it still wasn't in alignment to you, or it still wasn't what you actually wanted. It was just the opposite of what somebody else wanted for you. There's an ending to that. For those of you that have been living in that energy, there's much more of this balanced stability energy coming in here where you are able to find that middle ground, where you're able to find what's actually true to you instead of moving in alignment with or in opposing energy to what somebody else taught you to do. So that is something that's coming through here as well for group number 2. But the universe here, this is really like that energy of realizing that you don't need all of these things that everybody told you you needed, or that you don't have to live your life in the same way that other people live their life. You don't have to fit into that idea of what normalcy is. You don't have to live your life in this kind of socially collective accepted way in order to be worthy, or in order to be strong, or in order to be accepted. And I feel like a lot of you guys are going to be really, really, really embracing that over the next 3 years, which is beautiful. But let's go ahead here and pull you One final message, group number 2. Any last guidance or advice in regards to this transit? We have Cosmic Womb. I love it. Yeah, you guys are being reborn. This is the Divine Feminine. So your guys' Divine Feminine is going to be kind of like your support system through the next 3 years as you really heal and develop and stabilize your Divine Masculine, using your Divine Feminine energy to really nurture and nourish your Divine Masculine energy is going to be super, super important. But yeah, you guys are definitely being reborn. You're definitely being initiated and activated into a whole new life over the next 3 years. I absolutely love that. But this is what I'm seeing for you guys. If you enjoyed this, if it resonated with you, if it brought you value, please hit that like button, as it truly does help to support the channel. Comment down below. Let me know if you chose this pile. Let me know how this Saturn and Pisces energy has been impacting you, or if you've noticed it at all. Let me know if you have any questions about this transit or this reading. Consider subscribing if you feel called to do so. I thank you guys so very much for joining me here today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Hello, my beautiful group number 3. Those of you that chose pile number 3 here. This reading is for you, and we're looking at how this Saturn in Pisces energy is going to impact and influence you. So starting off here, you guys chose this image and the Light Seers Tarot here. But group number 3, starting off, the energy that I'm really picking up on with this imagery is this idea of idolizing something or someone, this idea of looking up to somebody or trying to prove something to somebody or trying to prove yourself in some way, shape, or form, or feeling like you have to prove yourself, feeling like you're constantly having to explain yourself, or feeling like you're constantly having to justify your answers or justify your actions in some way, shape, or form. There's just something here about feeling like you constantly have to explain yourself. Interesting. So we're going to take a look at the message here on this card, and then we'll shuffle the rest out as we go. So group number 3, we have freedom flows. Don't hold yourself back from worldly freedom. Dream grand things for divine, sacred reason. And something that I'm really picking up on here, group number 3, is like this idea that maybe you feel like you are going to get left behind. There's also like the sense of urgency, this sense of feeling like you don't have enough time, or feeling like you have to hurry up in some way, shape, or form. So there's just this almost like overwhelming sense of feeling the need to prove yourself, and that's going to come through differently for everybody here. But I feel like over the next 3 years there is going to be a change in this. There is a need for you guys to really embrace this idea of going with the flow, not trying to force things, right? Saturn puts a wall up. Saturn stops us in our tracks and tells us to enjoy the ride and stop trying to force our way out of the ride, or stop trying to force our way through things that we aren't meant to go through yet, or to experience things that we aren't meant to experience yet. I feel like you guys may be feeling very blocked or even very burnt out at this point in time, group number 3, and I feel like the reason why is because Saturn has put his foot down and he's saying no more. Like, it is time to move more freely. It's time to stop forcing yourself into doing certain things, or forcing yourself to do more or to do better because you feel like you have something to prove. It's time to let go of that idea or that energy and allow yourself to go with the flow, allow yourself to move more freely, to dream more freely, to experience life more freely in a way that feels good instead of in a way that feels forced or rushed, or like it's never quite good enough. Interesting. So I do feel for a lot of my group number threes that you're spreading yourself way too thin. And that's going to be different for everybody as this is a general reading. But there is a sense of like spreading yourself way too thin and maybe needing to kind of work on getting more structured or creating more of a routine that allows you to do the things that you know, have to get done, or to take care of the responsibilities that you have to take care of, but in a way that flows, instead of in a way where it's like you're trying to force everything into one day or into 1 hour or into one time frame, trying to get everything all done at once. I feel like that may be kind of a big kind of obstacle for group number three, is this idea that maybe you struggle with procrastination, or struggle with motivation, or struggle with putting things off or on the back burner, even as that Pisces energy kind of comes in here in that aspect where we are learning how to self-regulate, where we're learning how to face parts of ourselves that we've been procrastinating on. And I feel like this transit here is going to be about learning how to harness yourself in a way where you are able to maintain a sense of routine or structure or discipline, in a sense that allows you to get things done in a timely manner, consistently, instead of putting things off until you have this kind of heaping pile of chores and of responsibilities that you have to now do all at once. That energy is here very strongly, and there's a big change, I feel like, trying to come in regards to how you manage these responsibilities and these tasks and these chores that need to get done. And learning how to kind of self-motivate and self-regulate, instead of needing somebody or something to tell you when you have to be there, when something has to be done, or strictly only going by deadlines and then waiting until the last minute before pursuing it. And there's something here about that very strongly coming in that is changing for group number three. So let's go ahead and pull some cards here and look a little deeper into what you can expect with this Saturn and Pisces energy for group number three here. Some of you guys may also kind of resonate with this idea that you don't allow yourself to create, or you don't allow yourself to be inspired, unless there's something outside of you that's inspiring, or something outside of you that's motivating you. And I feel like there's kind of a reversal of this energy where you're able to dig deep. There's this essence of needing to dig deep within yourself and find your own source of inspiration and creativity and motivation from within, so that you can kind of self-motivate, so that you can move freely without needing somebody or something else to tell you when, or needing somebody else's approval, or needing to do what somebody else wants, or needing to prove yourself. Interesting. So let's go ahead here. Group number three, we have 6th chakra with Archangel Metatron coming through here. So yeah, there's going to be a huge change in I feel for a lot of you guys, like in your imagination, in your ability to visualize, is something that's coming through here. But also like this idea that I feel like group number three, a lot of you guys, for example, and this could come through literally for some of you guys, but overall this is just an example. I feel like you guys may be in this space where it's like you are needing, okay, say you're a painter, it's like you're needing to have a tutorial or a step-by-step instructor in order to create a painting at this time. And I feel like Saturn in Pisces is teaching you how to kind of portray your own voice and your own imagination and your own creativity onto the canvas from within yourself, instead of needing that direction from outside of yourself, if that makes sense. So instead of building a life that somebody else would like to see you live, or instead of getting up and going to work at your 9 to 5 and making sure that you're there on time every day, and doing what you need so that somebody else remains happy and so that the business remains happy, you're learning how to do these things for yourself and in your own life in certain ways. So there's almost like the sense of an artistic voice that is being found, and that's going to be different for everybody here again, and it doesn't even have to apply to like actually like painting or anything like this, but there's this voice within yourself that is being found, that you guys are harnessing over the next 3 years, that is going to teach you how to dig deep and find that inspiration and that motivation and that creativity, to be able to problem solve and to move a little more freely within your life, instead of constantly living in this state of overwhelm and urgency and yeah, like this need for like this need for a reason to be motivated is almost how it's coming through here. Interesting. We also have the Sun. I freaking love it. Group number 3. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, sorry about that if the camera changed a little bit. I just received a phone call that I had to take. But with the Sun here, group number 3, this is really telling me that you guys are going to be entering into a new reality that maybe you never believed you could achieve. While Saturn is in Pisces, it's almost like a dream come true is something that I'm seeing here, or like a dream actually manifesting into the physical reality. And in order for this to really happen, I feel like you guys are going to be going through a lot of transformations almost within the ego. And that kind of sense of pride that I was talking about in the beginning, like this need to prove yourself, or this need to have acceptance, or this need to be validated, or like always trying to give reasons why you're doing certain things, or explaining yourself, or even for some of you guys not being able to say no. This is going to be a very large focus for you guys over the next 3 years, learning how to state your truth, how to live in your truth without feeling like you have to explain yourself or prove that your truth is worthy of your attention. But there's definitely like an overall kind of sense of your wildest dreams coming true here as well, which is absolutely beautiful. I love that for you guys. Like something coming into reality. Saturn is kind of that reality check, right? And Pisces is very much so that dreamy, imaginative, creative, spiritual kind of energy here. And I feel these things colliding for you guys, like your biggest dreams coming into reality. And for some of you guys over the next 3 years, in order to get to this, you may also have to go through some reality checks, and some of them may seem kind of harsh for you depending on, your situation and what you're going through here. And there may be certain things that you thought you wanted, or certain energies that you experience, or certain things that you even try to bring into your reality that aren't in alignment with you, where I feel like Saturn is going to reality check you and like almost like cut you off from those things, right? So anything that's wasting your time, anything that's requiring too much of your time and your energy and your space that isn't in alignment with you, I feel like Saturn is going to be really separating you from, or like really kind of putting the foot down. Like there's, and this is going to come through in so many different ways. For some of you guys, if it's a job, you might get fired, you might get laid off, you might lose your job in a way that doesn't feel that great. And just know that if this happens, it's because that job isn't what's meant for you. This could come through with certain relationships that we have, even romantic relationships. If this romantic relationship isn't meant to move forward with us, or it isn't right for us, or it isn't in alignment with us, or it's holding us back, Saturn can definitely kind of get in the way almost, or like create distance with that Piscean energy, that isolation. You may find that certain relationships, or even connections, may begin distancing themselves. Like you may find that you are pulling back, or that other people are pulling back from you, and there's a need to really dive into that Pisces energy and embrace it, and embrace that ability to trust what is happening, and to trust the way that things are flowing, and what you're flowing into and what you're flowing away from through this time, because it's definitely leading you to bringing some sort of very major dream into reality. Interesting. Let's pull some more cards here for group number 3 and see how else Saturn and Pisces is going to be impacting and influencing you. For group number 3, please. We have Gemini. That doesn't surprise me at all. We have curiosity, intellect, and networking. So like I was just talking about, like with the connections, with the relationships, this is definitely going to impact the way you interact with society, with your community. This is definitely going to, some of you guys need to market something. If you already have something that you want to build a life around, or to sell, or to share with the world, there's a need for marketing here. Interesting. But with Gemini here, this really talks about our social impact and the way that we connect, the way that we influence, the way that we impact other people. And I feel like this is a big kind of energy for group number 3, as I was talking about with that need for approval, or that need to prove yourself, right? That is being shed away, and the more that you can work on being your authentic self and your true self, and showing that version of yourself, the more the people that resonate with that part of yourself, or with that authentic version of yourself, are going to show up, right? And the Saturn energy also kind of talks about our social status, and the way that we are recognized within our field of work, or within society, within our communities. And I feel like you guys are definitely going to be being recognized by a certain community, or a certain group of people, or a certain kind of entity over the next 3 years, in a very powerful way. For some of you guys, it could be in the spiritual community, if that's where your passion is. For some of you guys, it could be because of some sort of creative project that you bring into reality. It could be maybe some sort of like TED Talk is something that I'm seeing here, like a TED Talk, being some sort of influential speaker, or maybe it's social media for some of you guys, being recognized, or kind of blowing up over the next 3 years in your social media presence, or in the way that you connect with the collective in that aspect. Interesting. However that comes through, there's a need to market yourself. Group number 3, there is a need to market yourself. There's a need to market your product, your ideas, your opinions, your authentic self. There's a need to put yourself out there and share your ideas and your perspective. And that's really what I get out of this image here, is like this idea of perspective, like you looking up to somebody, or like needing somebody's approval, or wanting to prove yourself, or wanting acceptance from somebody or something. And there's a need to kind of release this idea that other people or energies are above you, and begin sharing your ideas and your perspective from where you currently are. Interesting. Let's pull another card here. Earth. We have persistence, patience, and practicality. Yeah, and this is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy, which Capricorn's ruled by that Saturn energy as well. And I really feel like for you guys, there is something... there's something that you've either really wanted to do for a long time, or something that you've been already working on for a long period of time. And while Saturn is in Pisces, it's coming into this physical reality, this dream, this success, this healing. For some of you guys, there is going to be kind of a healing of the mental body as well as the physical body. That's something that's coming in here very strongly. You may be finding that you are getting far more interested in like physical health and things like this as well. But it's like people are noticing. So for some of you guys, maybe you're going to be, losing weight, or kind of creating that body that you've always wanted over the next 3 years as well. Maybe you're going, I feel collectively for group number 3 that you're going through a glow up over the next 3 years, and people are going to be noticing you. And all of you are going to go through this differently, but people are going to be noticing you. They're going to be noticing the change in you. They're going to be recognizing your vision and your ideas as valuable. And they are. There's a need to put yourself out there, though. If you want to be seen, if you want to be recognized, you have to put yourself in positions for people to see you. And you guys may really struggle with this idea of being vulnerable or open enough to allow others in, to allow others to see you for who you truly are. And I really feel like that's where a lot of the work is going to be at for you guys over the next 3 years, is allowing people to see you, but still maintaining boundaries in a way that keeps you safe and stable and secure, and in a way that keeps you on track. Interesting. So let's pull some tarot, group number 3, and go a little deeper into this message for you. Group number 3. So on top of our 6th chakra, we have the Knight of Swords. Yeah, you guys are coming into a time of a lot of ideas, a lot of messages, a lot of maybe people trying to reach out to you, a lot of people trying to maybe even force their opinions onto you at the time that you're watching this video. There is a message here to like not let your mind run away with you, group number 3. And that may be something that you're really working on over these next 3 years, as well as really that mental discipline, right? That need to maintain focus, that need to not allow your thoughts or that narrator within you to dictate your life or your ideas or your perception of yourself. But there's also this idea here that you guys have a lot of very brilliant, kind of genius almost ideas and visions and a beautiful imagination, but you have to allow yourself to share those things, to put it out into the reality, to allow those to be seen or allow them to be acted on. Allow yourself to act on your ideas, group number 3. Act on your ideas. Without allowing your mind to get away with you, go away with you. Like there's something here where it's like for some of you guys, maybe it's you allow your mind to run away with you and to tell you you're not going to be good enough or that you can't in some way, shape, or form. And so you just don't do it. And for some of you guys, it may be the opposite, to where you have this brilliant idea and you run with it, but then you never share it, or you run with it and you continue to invest and invest and invest, where maybe it wasn't the idea that you were originally wanting, but you allowed like other people's inputs and ideas to kind of manipulate what you were doing, and it's like other people and other energies kind of took off with your idea, right? So there's a need to kind of become aware of that and allow yourself to maintain. There's a huge message here for group number 3 about like maintaining yourself, maintaining your ideas, maintaining that kind of stability instead of allowing yourself or others or whatever to run away with. Interesting. Let's pull another card here. Let's take a look at the Sun and why the Sun is here for group number 3. 7 of Pentacles. Yeah, I really, really feel like the 7 of Pentacles for me always comes through as time, like something that takes a long time, or even patience or persistence, which we have here with this Earth energy. We have persistence, patience, and practicality. So I feel for a lot of you guys that maybe you had this idea, whether you started working towards it or not yet is kind of irrelevant, but there's something here where it's like you had this idea and you expected it to take off immediately, or you expected it to happen much quicker than it has, or there's something here about not being realistic about the amount of time or patience that something is going to take. And the Saturn and Pisces is really kind of bringing in that reality check for you that great things take time to grow, right? You know, look at a tree. You know, you can plant a tree and you'll begin to see the growth. You'll begin to see it come through the ground. But it's still going to take a very, very long time before it can stand on its own, right? And that's kind of the energy that I'm getting here. So there is a need to kind of be like more realistic, group number 3, about the amount of time that things are going to take, and to not compare yourself to other people. And that's something that's very, very important for group number 3. Like, don't compare yourself to other people's success, or how long other people have been doing the same thing. Or, you know, how fast other people grew, or how fast they took off. Interesting. Let's pull some more cards here. Let's take a look at this Gemini energy. King of Cups. I really feel for a lot of my group number 3s that you guys are going to be... It's almost as though you are becoming the person that other people look up to. Or you are going to be like some sort of leader, or some sort of person that represents a group, or maintains some sort of group or energy or community. You're going to be like the focus of some sort of community or group, or you are, it's almost like for some of you guys with that marketing energy that came into it, maybe there's something here where it's like you have this idea that you've been working towards, that you've been trying to build, or this business or whatever it is. And there's a need to work on branding. And by that, what I mean is use your name. Like, if you want people to recognize you as the visionary, as the person behind the product or the business or the idea, you have to use your name. And I feel for a lot of you guys, there's some sort of fear about putting your name out there. There's some sort of almost like fear about allowing people in. But you are your brand. You are your business. Like, you are the core, the heart, the soul of whatever this is for you. So there's a need to allow yourself to be a part of it, instead of trying to separate yourself from it and not allow people to kind of like see behind that door, or see behind that name, or see behind that product. Interesting. And on top of Earth here, we have the Five of Swords. Yeah, there's a lot of conflict. And for some of you guys, maybe even a lot of thoughts about giving up, a lot of feeling like maybe you've wasted your time, or maybe you were wrong, or maybe this wasn't the best idea, or maybe other people are telling you that because it hasn't popped off yet, or whatever it is. But there's a need to really pursue and don't give up, group number 3. Don't give up. These next 3 years, you know, again, like I said, there may be some reality checks, and some of them may not come through in the way that we want to experience them. But there is something very big that is manifesting, that is creating, that is going to grow, that you are going to be recognized for by a group of people, by an entity, by a community. And it is going to be very physical, earth-based kind of energies here, like an actual business, like a actual award. Like, there's something very physical and tangible about what is going to be created if you guys continue to pursue and persist, and stay focused. Interesting. So let's go ahead and pull you kind of one final message, group number 3. Any last guidance or advice that you need to know about Saturn and Pisces for you? For group number 3, please. Okay, I hesitated far too long about how many of these to take, so we're just going to take a quick look at all 3 of them, okay? So starting off, we have the Horseman, Herald of Change, okay? Initiate change. Allow yourself to change. Don't stay in this box or in this one spot because you want somebody to notice you, or you want a specific person to notice, or you want a specific business to notice what you're doing. Allow yourself to change and market yourself in new ways, and in new environments, and to new groups of people. There's something here where it's like maybe you've been wanting a specific award or a specific recognition, or, you know, something like that. And there's a need to kind of shift focus and allow yourself to continue doing what you're doing, but broaden who or what you're marketing yourself to. I hope that makes sense for you guys. We also have lost compass, getting back to integrity. Yeah, you guys, there's like the next 3 years is getting back on track and learning how to stay focused and learning how to kind of direct yourself instead of allowing other people to have any sort of control or power over the directions that you go in. Because I really feel for group number 3 that there's something here where it's like you had this idea or you were, pursuing something, and it's like somebody told you, oh, well, it'd be really cool if you did this. So you incorporated that. And then somebody else is like, oh, well, I have this idea for your business. So you did that. And it's like all of these other people and energies kind of pulling and tugging at your idea. And it's caused you to lose focus. It's caused you to lose sight of, for one, why you started in the first place, and for two, where you were trying to go. So there's a huge sense of you guys got pulled off track, right? You guys, it's like your idea got, it took off without you, or it's like, I don't even know how to explain this. It didn't necessarily take off without you, but it's like being pulled in different directions without your authority. Or other people or other energies taking off with your idea coming through here as well for some of you guys. And that's changing for you over the next 3 years with all of this. We also have lay of the land with ancestral wisdom. So some of you guys may be pursuing something or creating something or sharing something that is generational, that has been passed down from generation to generation. And if that resonates with you, I feel like this particular card is only for a few people here, but if that resonates with you, Spirit really wants you to continue incorporating that generational energy into what you're doing. Interesting. But this is what I'm seeing for my beautiful group number 3. If you enjoyed this reading, if it resonated with you, if it brought you value, please hit that like button, as it truly does help to support the channel. Comment down below. Let me know if you chose this pile. Let me know how Saturn in Pisces has impacted you so far, or if you've picked up on any of those energies. Let me know if you have any questions about this reading or about Saturn in Pisces. I thank you guys so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you feel called to do so. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.